Welcome back to part number 19 of my Imperator Rome playthrough as Rome. We just finished warring with Pontus. We essentially took the entirety of his realm over. He was at war with Parthia, or the Parthian revolt. I was sending some units up here to, if worst case came, the Parthians and were going to stop us from annexing all of Pontus. I was going to have to declare war on them, but I'm sort of at a loss as to what to do in between now and May of 83, I believe it is. Yeah, May of 83, when our truce with Carthage ends. So I was thinking of attacking the Parthian revolt anyway. There's this territory. There's some territory out here. I hired this merc. I'm going to send him down here. This merc is headed up here to secure that. I figure this guy's on road building detail. I'm sending some of these legions out this way, and about half of the army is going to head back to secure costs. Maybe Massilia, as I have quite a few claims there. They've gotten away from me, and I can probably annex that for another 6 aggressive expansion and just get it out of the way. And then half of the army will engage what's left of Carthage. And then that other half will leave, return here, and we'll have another. The fleet will cross through this river area, and then we'll go east from then on out until we return to take the Gaul out late in the game. I have troops just landed adjacent to Kos here, and I will declare this war. Ionia. Okay, let's do it. Boom. The war goes well here. I've been building and conquering and building essentially grand theaters and grand temples in all of the regions that I conquered. But it seems to me very recently that we conquered Babylonia. We had 25,000 gold, and well, it's gone now. Couldn't say exactly where it went, but I guess all of these cities building temples, theaters, and moving pops about and building barracks over here, all of it has cost quite a considerable amount of gold. So going forward, I think I need to lower that cost rather than increase my revenue, which seems, positive. 176. I think I need to lower my build cost, because that's only going to get worse as we head over here to the east and do the theater, the temple duo over in all of these cities there. So I am going to save my innovations until such a time that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at least to get a build cost. And then I think 7 here, that doesn't do me any good, and 8. That's 8 innovations spoken for, but this is a 5% build cost with some capacity. Building slots and promotion speed is good for getting the slaves to freemen, and then the freemen will be more loyal if going forward. Over here we have a huge populace, and the faster they promote over to from slaves to freemen, the happier they'll be necessarily. Like, we just conquered this city here. And there are, what's the pop ratio here? There are a bunch of freemen there, and there are quite a few slaves. So this city is probably about as evenly dispersed as it can be expected after such a short period. So the freemen are 49% happy at wrong. So that's sort of happy. And if we get a proper consul, they'll be even happier. And if we get our government ideas aligned, they'll be even happier yet. The problem is we have to do away with 10% build cost. But if we build a wonder that can be built or change at one of our 2 wonders in Rome, like say one of the ones that which one doesn't do much good, I don't know really. How about you? You. I see. You. maybe we'll just build another one, and we'll be able to build this one. At level 3, we get a global building slot, build cost of 7.5. So we'll outlay some money. It'll get finished in 10 or 15 years, cost us some PI, but we'll have a 7.5% build cost once the wonder is done. And we'll be able to change our government slots away from this 10% to, say, one of these military ones, whichever one it ends up being. And we'll get another 8% Freeman happiness. So that should make a difference going over here when we theoretically will be running lower stability than not. The Freeman may still maintain a semblance of happiness, and we may be able to build the theaters and temples for a 0.5 upward tick on the theater and temple as well. So you'll note that this is our city here. And what is the Hatra? So Hatra is 0.02 negative, but without the theater and the temple it would be 0.12 negative, and this would be headed down, and that's at a 50% stability. So I need to build these theaters and temples essentially everywhere and build more freemen. I need to do it cheaper, and I need to make the freemen happy. All of that should be coming together in the next 15 to 20 years. Alright, our troops are mostly in position. Let's declare this war and choose the war goal of this. There's a claim out in the east which may or may not be actionable directly. I have someone headed out there. This unit there. But where is it? Yeah, it's just this tiny little part of this province. I could declare war on Parthia. Whatever the case, this unit should be out there at some point. We're going to declare war on the Persians relatively shortly. We can peace out with Kos and company here for a meager amount of aggressive expansion, essentially none. We also happen to have a claim here in Samaria, and we may as well action that right now. This Parthian revolt war is over. We're going to take just a bit of AE and let... Anyway, we have 40.63. Yep. We took the territory we had a claim on, left the rest for Phanagoria. And they are annexing 668 at present. Let's start the integration for Goria here. Georia. That's, what is the date? 625, right? Yeah, 625 is what I read. We officially have no claims available on Carthage at all. This siege of Samaria is done. We should be able to peace out. I'm going to load them up on this boat here. And I think we head off to in this direction. Whether we get Massilia or Carthage or both, it's not known right now. Looks as though we completed the Pharaoh's Lighthouse, and it's giving us honored admirals a bit of morale, recovery and loyalties. Nice. We're headed there. I hired some mercs here. I'm going to have these mercs siege these two client states and then disband them so that the army can deal with this madness. I've hired 2 smaller merc stacks for here. That with the 4 proper legions headed over here, it should do the job. While I'm here, before I forget, probably should grab that for more morale and levy size modifier. A claim just hit here against the Persian revolt. I think I'm gonna file another right there just in case they don't reconcile. Well, we're early to the Carthage party, so we'll just declare here. There are no claims to be had, which means that the entirety of the lot is chosen or claimed, and on we go. I forgot to turn the microphone off for on for about 30 seconds. This is an overdub. We are going to make peace with Massilia here. Relatively little aggressive expansion. And then head right over to Carthage. Try to finish as much of that as possible so there won't be any trouble going forward. The opening stages of the war go well. This guy is headed up in this direction. We've caught the first levy of Vedica out. It's sad for him, really. We're taking that. We're going to head over to his capital now, which I believe is on this island. Sieging down this fort. We need to catch this guy at some point. Maybe we'll go and do it now. These two forts are under siege as well. Another side levy here. 3 marshal. Well, the war was quicking out. There's nothing much to see. There was no resistance really whatsoever. It was just a matter of getting there in a reasonably timely manner. Let's see exactly how much we can take. This will probably rule him out escapading in Iberia unless he takes to the sea, but he probably won't be able to take them as there's not much left of them to begin with. So there it is. Okay, I'm gonna see about building the barracks to instill loyalty and maybe filling these cities. I think I built some aqueducts, or I didn't as yet. I'll probably build some aqueducts in these cities. And let's see what he has left. He has a city there and 2 cities here, and that's the extent of Carthage at this point. And his 2 client states. So what do we do now? I think we head back here. We have a very little aggressive expansion again due to our tyranny. Let's see what we burn. 32 from the tyranny. I have a claim going in against the Persian revolt. That's 66% done. There is that was the only singular. I see. There used to be a Persian revolt here. Apparently, it's not quite what it used to be, really. Well, it was an idea. I should have declared it. It was 22% in this whole area here was still Persian revolt. I'm not really so sure it's worth my while right now. There seems to be some conflict. Anyway, I'm going to group up and head back to the east as described. There's nothing much left to conquer here. We're going to leave these Gaulics be again. These are integrating when 526, 56 or 570 and or 670, and then 625 here, right? Yeah. Okay, maybe Egypt or maybe Persia proper. This is another overdub, bouncing in and out of recording and doing other things. I'm gonna go down here to see if I can get some degree of efficiency. Most of this stuff is not particularly useful. A couple of percentage points of slave output. We're approaching the meat of the subject. 2.5 build cost. The next one is useless, and then in urban planning we get a few more slots. We can build more aqueducts in challenged areas, namely Iberia. We also get 5% population capacity, which will help, and we get 5% build cost as well. So all that's going to come together for our more challenged loyalty areas that are tribal or were tribal. To get our cities a higher capacity, our barracks, we can send more higher capacity there as well. Or in areas that were essentially maxed out, like in Italia, we can increase, bring in some of the pops from the countryside to urbanize them, as there are a few about just sort of mulling about at this point that can't go into the cities because the cities are maxed out relative to pop capacity. So I'm going to declare war on the Persian revolt. At least that's the plan. I was thinking I could action one of those or both of those claims. There's a claim up to the top left of the screen. Also in works, I think it's 50 or 60 some odd complete. I'm thinking by the time this war closes, we can just let it run, and then when that claim hits, we could peace. Spoilers, this is not really going to work out all that well. The Seleucid revolt and the Seleucid Empire proper, or Persian Empire more properly, are going to come to terms and take our territories out from under us. We're going to occupy a few of them, and then we're going to go at Nabatea. I think we have a bunch of claims. Axum, specifically right here, is what I want. It'll get us adjacency to that deep Kush territory. I'm just going to take what claims we have for as little aggressive expansion and keep filing them. We have, we're essentially using all of our PI on claims. Once this Persian situation gets under control and we start to conquer Moria and company over there, we should get more PI for improving our wonders or whatnot, because we'll just be running a higher aggressive expansion at that point. Maybe declaring some, truce break wars, as if we already have a zero stability. What's the harm in it, really? At least that would be the thought. They just pieced us out. We had taken those territories. Oh, well. But we do, I think the claims that we had in the revolt rolled over to Persian Empire proper. Alright, some time has passed. We are, the units that were in Iberia are now here adjacent to Nabatea. These, I'm going to head down here to the Axum that I was after, and this stretch as well. I have some claims on. I checked back here to see how all this was going over. Not particularly well, not particularly poorly. Just sort of bleeding a bit of loyalty, as one might expect when it was first conquered. Carthage has generally detribalized it, I think, or it would be worse. As these slaves promote to freemen, it should get better. I have, again, those actually, some of the aqueducts have hit. And I believe that I can move more pops and placate the slaves out here in the wilderness by creating, by sending them to cities and making them freemen, citizens, etc. So that's a thing to do. As money becomes available, I make a tidy sum now. Almost as much as I did before I changed to a bellicose stance from mercantile, and changed a few other things that cost me a bit of money over the short term. So I'm positioned here against Persia as well. We have an active claim. Essentially, I have all the claims available except for the third one I just made was like 60 points, and there are two more that are not particularly potent. There are a lot of claims here that can be actioned, and I plan to do that essentially, well, right now. I believe we can take Chaldea. Sounds like a decent item. Sure, we have one, and we will declare the war right now. Tyranny. I see. Well, I see. Well, we took the tyranny hit. Theoretically, we are very near the top of our ability to incur any more tyranny. How about you? Let's see there. They're happy about that. So if they're happy, we're happy. Let's get it done before they become mad about it or change their mind. With 90-something tyranny is about where I draw the line. So let's see. Dedan, do we have a claim there? We don't. Where do we have a claim? That's the one we want right here. Axum. Boom. Well, there we go. More tyranny. There's going to be quite a lot of bouncing back and forth, but you'll note I have quite a few units on the board here. I don't really see any problem. I don't have any mercs. I have a fairly vast disposable income. where I could afford 4 fairly large stacks. These guys tech 8, we're tech 15. These guys tech 7, we're 15. We're gonna win. It's sad for the Persian Empire. 23k, I'm not sure whether this green is correct or not, but it will be by the time this guy arrives. It was a slaughter. I'm not exactly sure what this is about. I think he must be out of manpower. 81. Looks as though Ascom is at war with Kush as well. Luckily we took this coastal province capital here. We're headed down to this fort. These wars are going well. It's this Ascom, the capital, the fort here, but we've occupied is a problem, but we've occupied the rest of the territory that we're after here, so we should be able to separate ask for it in the peace agreement via just territorially speaking rather than the whole province. This area is quite largely occupied. Our fleet, we can pick this unit up and bring it down to reinforce this effort. There's really been no meaningful resistance at all. There's been some skirmishing with some light duty forces around here. Some of our road builders have I've drafted them to military service against some of the light duty levies here. These were formerly road building detail, as she probably can retire. Do I remember to take her off of Asia here at some point when she's... perhaps. If I don't, she could be there for a very long time. The war score is coming with both wars, slowly but surely. This one's proceeding well, although the war score doesn't reflect it so much. Uh-oh, hold on a minute here. Okay, so that's better. We'll send both of these guys down here. They must have pieced out with one another. They have. The issue with the Persian resistance is these guys up here. I have some merc armies that I called up, but I essentially paid this no mind at all, and I think they've been dredging up some war score here. A 94 war score against the Persians. There's a lot of action here, and I don't see any reason why I should continue. I'm going to see if I can dredge up a decent settlement. So there's essentially 0.45 AE, another 0.45, another 0.55, 0.55, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, 0.6, let's see here, we've got that. He's just barely disagreeable to this by essentially even, so I think it should tick up just in a moment and we can finish. Looks like he's agreeable now, and I don't see any reason we'll take that. We'll do it. We'll take the money. Not a moment has passed. I haven't unpaused it as yet. We now have more adjacencies to Parthia. We'll get a claim there. I'm going to move some of these troops over here to Parthia. It seems about the only actionable item that can be had at present. Yep. And I'm just waiting to siege down this one territory. I think we should be able to peace out with Nabatea. The problem then, I think, is there's really nothing too much to do. I guess we can invade Maka once those claims hit, but we have no aggressive expansion. There's no reason to stop other than we really can't continue. There's no adjacencies to Moria or... well, that's a problem of luxury, I suppose. This can be mopped up very quickly with cascading chain wars of all of these entanglements that they have with defensive leagues and such. One claim will get you to 5 or 6 of these tribes, I think, if you don't care about aggressive expansion. As for Georgia. 626 is when it integrates. And by then we should certainly have connectivity through Parthia to our soon-to-be new territories here. At which point we can invade Bactria, Moria, and company. So let's close this war out and then close this episode. There it is. Just hit so we can sue for peace. We could probably take some territories that aren't going to cause us, that we haven't paid the price for, like this one, as we get quite a bit of aggressive expansion, but we apparently have no problem with it. That about suits my palate. There's no need to take any more. I suppose we could take that or wait and take more, but why should I do it? Why should I? Expansion's not too much. Certainly will burn down by the time we get something else going. And let's just 0.6 tick down. We're going to have to move these armies onto our fleet, start claiming some of these areas. I think we can immediately file a claim here against... Let's see where that is. We'll have that as well. We'll go for this surely. I think we have a claim here. We could declare war at this time against Egypt again. We have no claims, so essentially anything that we have against Egypt that could be claimed has been. So I think that's what we'll do at the beginning of the next episode. I'm going to move these legions here up to engage Egypt again. And maybe some of these guys just slightly back here, some mercs. That should do it. We have new funding because we raised, I believe, Seleucia Megalle. And I hope to see you in the next episode.